can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So,
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get the show started. On the show today, social media erupts after India's win over England at the Oval yesterday, reminding all English experts that they got their predictions all wrong. Michael Vaughan was trolled for his insensitive comment at the start of the series. Is this the new Team India and has it found its blueprint? Magnus Carlson wins the esports chess event, but not without its fair share of drama and controversies. Carlson loses his cool, lashing out at the boisterous crowd that was present. What happened, and is Carlson making it a bit of a habit to whine? And Cristiano Ronaldo faces heat for not attending his teammate Diogo Jota's funeral in Gondomar. Though he said it was due to personal reasons, we tell you why, and was he justified in missing the funeral? But first, a look at the headlines on Sports 360. We'll start with cricket. India has moved to the third spot in the World Test Championship table after their historic win over England at the Oval. Following the 2-all series draw, India gained 12 points and exchanged places with England, who've now slipped to fourth. Australia topped the rankings, followed by Sri Lanka. India's T20 captain Suryakumar Yadav returned to training after a hernia surgery. The skipper suffered sports hernia last month and flew to Germany to get operated upon. This is Yadav's third surgery in 3 years. He will lead India at the Asia Cup, which is scheduled to take place in September in the UAE. In tennis, former world number one Novak Djokovic has pulled out of the Cincinnati Open. Djokovic last featured at this tournament in 2023 when he lifted the title, beating Carlos Alcaraz in the final. Djokovic had also pulled out of the Canadian Masters recently, making it 2 consecutive withdrawals from ATP 1000 events without any medical reasons. Djokovic will now head into the US Open, scheduled to take place later this month without any warm-up. Moving to football, Indian Super League or the ISL club Bengaluru FC has put salaries of the first team on hold owing to uncertainty over the league's future. Indian legend Sunil Chhetri, who's the captain of Bengaluru FC, is the first to be affected. ISL's future hangs in the balance because of a dispute between the Football Federation and their commercial partners. And the US government has restricted visas for transgender women seeking to compete in women's sports. This is part of President Donald Trump's mandate to remove the participation of trans athletes from various sporting disciplines. The US Olympics and Paralympics committees have already changed their policies to align with Trump's mandate. Victory tastes sweeter when the odds are stacked against you. You're least expected to win, and yet you managed to somehow. It was going to be a close fight, but the chances of an Indian victory on day 5 against England was minuscule. Yet it proved to be a story of redemption for India. The lead actor in that narrative was Mohammed Siraj, one bowler who's gone through so many different emotions, all in the course of a very short Test career. From carrying on to play despite losing his father right in the middle of a tour to being a part of some glorious Indian chapters in the longest format, Siraj has showed us all why he's not just a step-in side performer, but can very well be the main lead. More than anything, it was redemption for him, moments that would have haunted him had the result been otherwise, like the tragedy at Lord's, where he was stranded, and the dropped catch when Brook was merely on 19. I'm sure all of that was swirling around in his head on day 5. said he couldn't sleep beyond 6 a.m. on the last day of the test. The man who looked up to someone else to lead him had to do the job himself. Now, for someone who always kept faith on Jassi, his teammate Jasprit Bumrah, it was time to deliver that himself. A Google screenshot of the word believe, Cristiano Ronaldo for inspiration, and Siraj nailed it. That Yorker and the sound of the stumps shattering, music, relief, getting everyone up on their feet.
From day one, everyone fought hard and the result is there to see. If I had taken that catch properly, probably we may not have had to come out today. When I woke up today, I had the belief that I could do it. I had the belief system. I took a photo from Google which read, "I can do it," and put it as my wallpaper.
In fact, this was a redemption story for many others too who were part of that squad. Rishabh Pant, who went from stupid against Australia to sensational against England. Yashasvi Jaiswal, from dropping catches and sitters to contributing with a valuable 100 in the last test. Washington Sundar, is he the next big spin bowling all-rounder for India? He came into every test match under pressure and only came out on top with bat and ball. He defended just as well as he attacked. And Washington Sundar was yet another symbol of what a new India that is fearless looks like, that believes it can claw its way out of any situation and has the confidence of looking defeat in the eye and telling it not today. There was redemption for Ravindra Jadeja, who cricket experts wanted to be dropped after that first test. His patience and maturity out in the middle is one of the reasons that India could level the series. Pressure on the head coach Gautam Gambhir has been immense. And for a moment there, you thought it was all getting to him. Now I understand why. He was trying to shepherd a new, young Indian team into the next phase. And they are staring at yet another loss, this one to England. A side without its seniors was under pressure to perform here. The jubilant scenes post the win, particularly in the dressing room, told us all what this 2-all draw really meant to each one of them, because they had finally shut down all critics. Almost every English commentator, expert who called an English win, and a resounding one at that. Voices like Michael Vaughan, who flippantly said this series against India would be an ideal warm-up for England ahead of the series. Like this was some practice match, a place to experiment before the big one later on. Indian fans launched into all of those comments and ripped Vaughan apart. The tour, in fact, will be most remembered for the fiery moments that both India and England engaged in throughout the tour. The send-offs, the taunts, players on both sides trying to get under the skin of the opponents. This was war, and that's why this series leveler is one for the ages. It was salvation for Captain Shubman Gill too, who showed all doubters a glimpse of how he could be a leader and score all the runs. He was top scorer of this tour, and that he was capable of handling the heat too, the intensity of England coming at him, and of course managing to take his team forward. As KL Rahul said after the test wrapped up, these 5 matches took every little bit out of each and every member of that dressing room. They had to channel every ounce of their skills, their willpower to get here. And that's what this win should recognize. This new Indian team has showed that big names mean nothing. nor do the records. The legacy of venues, past history, the intimidating opponents on the day, none of that matters because they do not want to be burdened by the baggage that comes with it. They want to play free and expressive cricket and truly believe that nothing can come in their way in doing so. That they will make sure they will disprove everyone wrong, even if it took the whole series in doing so. Magnus Carlson is arguably the greatest chess player of all time, but lately his actions are raising a serious question. Does he really carry himself like one, like a world champion? Because while he's dominating every tournament he enters, he's also whining when things don't go his way. And the latest incident proves just that. Carlson's reign in chess is undisputed. Classical, rapid, blitz, freestyle, he's conquered it all. World number one for over a decade, no one's come close. Even when chess entered the digital arena, he adapted and won. Magnus Carlson took home the title at the inaugural Esports Chess World Cup, but not without controversy. In the semi-finals against world number 2 Hikaru Nakamura, Carlson got rattled, not by what was happening on the chessboard, but by the crowd. The fans gathered were backing Nakamura, who was representing the Saudi-based team Falcon, the home side. Every time Hikaru got into a good position, the crowd erupted, and Carlson, he tried shushing the audience mid-match. Now look, I get it. This was an unusual setting for chess. It's a sport that's a little more sedate. It's played in a very silent atmosphere. In all seriousness, there's a sense of calmness to it. But sport is forever evolving, and that happens everywhere, across many disciplines. It was about time chess had a bit of a shakedown too, and this was that. That's what was the problem. But the one problem was Carlson, who's always adapted to most of the technical aspects of the game, was definitely at sea here in this setting, and that frustration didn't end when the match either.
It pissed me off when they cheered when Hikaru was winning.
Not surprisingly, Nakamura too hit back.
Hopefully tomorrow, Alireza can kick Magnus Carlson's ass.
Well, that didn't happen, and Carlson won the final, but clearly not without drama, as is beginning to become a bit of a pattern with him. Because this isn't just about crowd behavior, it's also about how a champion reacts to pressure. And recently, that reaction has been pretty dismissive, petty and arrogant. Take his comments after Gukesh Domaraju won the candidates the World Championship. Even when India proved their worth at the biggest stage, instead of acknowledging India's rise in the chess world, Carlson's outright dismissed it. That's not just arrogance, that's denial. Because while Carlson is busy guarding his throne, Indian chess is booming. And the new wave isn't responding in a similar vein. It's doing so with composure. But you know, I saw this interview recently of Magnus Carlson being asked, so who's the India talent you think is on the rise and could be the star? And he said none. Would you like to correct him?
I'm not sure how to answer this question. I think India is here to stay and to dominate. I think it was convincingly proven last year when we won the Olympiad, both our men's and women's team. And I think definitely there's no need to reiterate it because the world knows that we are here. We are here to, we have announced it. And also these recent successes, I think they keep proving it to the world that India is here to dominate.
Now, Divya Deshmukh didn't slam Carlson. She didn't take any shots. She just stated the truth. That's for everyone to see. India's time has come. It's here. And the contrast is telling. A 19-year-old showing more maturity than the king of chess here. What Carlson seems threatened by is popularity. In Riyadh, it wasn't about him, and that clearly got under his skin. But let's take a step back here. The point is, true greatness isn't just about winning titles. It's about how you treat your rivals, how you respond to adversity, how do you carry yourself. That's what makes champions eternal. Carlson's dominance on the 64 squares unquestionable. But if he wants to be the role model, an icon of the sport, not just a record holder, then it's time to drop the whiny act. The football world is still reeling from the tragic loss of Liverpool forward Diogo Jota. His sudden death in a car crash shook fans, teammates and the football fraternity. As tributes continue to pour in, one question has dominated headlines and social media. Why was Cristiano Ronaldo absent from Jota's funeral? Ronaldo initially cited personal reasons, but after weeks of speculation, the real story seems to be coming to light. Our next report dives into the truth behind Ronaldo's decision to give Jota's final farewell a miss.
It's been over a month since Liverpool forward Diogo Jota tragically died in a car crash in Spain. Since then, the football world has not stopped mourning his loss. Liverpool remains steadfast in their promise, "You will never walk alone." The Reds paid tribute to Jota in their first match at Anfield since his death, a somber, emotional night during the friendly against Athletic Club. But amid the heartbreak, one question lingers. Why was Cristiano Ronaldo, the face of Portuguese football and Jota's compatriot, missing from the funeral in Gondomar? High-profile names like Ruben Dias, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva and Virgil van Dijk were there. But Ronaldo's absence sparked a storm of criticism. Ronaldo said he missed the funeral due to personal reasons, but the fans were not buying it. How could the captain of Portugal skip the funeral of a teammate he publicly mourned just days earlier? Especially when Ronaldo's heartfelt tribute post reminded everyone of the emotional connection. Now, after weeks of relentless speculation, the truth emerges. Ronaldo did not want to steal the spotlight from Jota's family and friends. He feared that his presence would shift the focus from the grief to himself. When Ronaldo's own father passed away, the invasive media frenzy traumatized his entire family.
When my father died, in addition to the pain of loss, we had to deal with a flood of cameras and curious onlookers at the cemetery, and everywhere we went. At no time were we able to leave the chapel. It was only possible at the time of the burial. Such was the commotion.
Ronaldo's sister isn't alone in his defense. The Portuguese Football Association chief spoke out, calling the criticism unfair.
What they said about our captain is unfair. Cristiano Ronaldo, he was one of the people who felt it the most, especially because he was a true teammate of Jota. His physical absence means nothing more than that, because he never abandoned this family.
Ronaldo is known to be fiercely loyal to his teammates and the inner circle. Just recently, he surprised the Al Nassr chef with a birthday cake. A small but telling sign of how much he values his team. And who can forget the emotional hug that Ronaldo gave Alex Ferguson after Portugal's historic Euro 2016 victory? For Ronaldo, the team is everything. So his absence from Diogo Jota's funeral is not a sign of disrespect or detachment. It's a deeply personal choice born from pain. A decision to let Jota's memory shine without any distraction. And what fans are forgetting is, sometimes the greatest acts of respect are silent. And this, above all, shows the true heart of a leader. He let the final rites be in the spotlight.
Time for last serve. We cross over to Egypt, where Ashraf Mahrouz is turning heads. He pulled 20 vehicles with an approximate weight of 27,000 kilograms. Now, this isn't his first attempt at a world record. Mahrouz is famous for breaking a few of them in the past, like pulling the heaviest train with his teeth. Take a look. That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.